Yes, sir. Welcome in. Welcome. Yes, Friday, baby. Welcome into Front Yard Fantasy Live. I'm joined by Joey, filling in for Simon, and my great friend. He was just in the chat like 2 days ago. Adam McFerran. He's from South Harmon Fantasy Football. Adam, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. I appreciate you having me on. I'm doing a lot better today. Just getting back from Vegas, honestly, but we were supposed to go have fun at my sister's, and everybody got sick. So it was one of those doom trips from hell.
Too much fun? Like too much fun? Got sick at Vegas?
No. Little kids got sick on the plane, like second day there.
Little kids had too much fun?
Then we're thinking like, all right, now we got them back to health. We go out, and for the first time we go out, it's like, oh shit, I think I'm gonna throw up, and not from drinking, just like, oh shit, we're sick too. So yeah, we're back though. We're back, and we're ready to be in Ohio, not in Vegas.
We're ready to be in Ohio. I like that. Yeah. That's just the thing you have to remind yourself of on a Friday.
Ran very rare, very rare. I'm sure people rarely say like I'm much more happy to be in Ohio than in Vegas, but here I am.
Here you are, Joey. How you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm good. I had a crazy morning. I was about to tell you about it. Someone on the Discord on the platform is impersonating me with 2 different accounts and trying to open up like crypto accounts.
Oh yeah.
I've had a bunch of screenshots of my picture, little Joey saying, "Hey, send me some money to open your crypto account." But they're like using like AI to like sound like me. It's creepy.
Wait, for real?
Wow. Yeah.
So I've heard and seen not in our own yet in South Harmon, but I've seen it across multiple Discords where they're like, impersonating and trying to get you to go do stuff like that. But the AI voice is a new twist.
It's not the voice. They're just like the way that I talk.
Oh, okay.
Like I was reading it and I was like, yeah, that really sounds like me.
So it's like inflection, not the voice yourself.
Or just like tone and words.
Just like the kind of phrasing I would use.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It was pretty crazy. So we had to send out alerts and So if you get a message to me on Discord, make sure it's the Joey Wright.
Yeah.
And not a little period after my name or anything like that. So yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot because I was just going to make a video about this. I feel like content creators are probably more vulnerable for some of these AI attacks because you have so much out there. You have just so much in your book. Like I constantly have to remind my family, like, hey, if you get anything from me, just remember there's like hundreds of hours of me talking shit with Simon on YouTube, and they can just grab that shit.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good point, honestly.
Yeah. Well, that's not what our show's about. We're talking football, baby. NFL, fantasy football, specifically Dynasty fantasy football. And perfectly timed is our good friend Dynasty Dave in the chat. What up, Dynasty Dave? How you doing, my friend?
What up, man?
Good to see you, brother. Just in time to talk some Dynasty. And we brought on Adam, who is the Dynasty expert. And Joey is here filling in for Simon. And Joey also plays Dynasty.
Okay. Love to hear it.
Yep. And period. End of sentence. We got Govnick in the chat. Love to see the collaborations. What up, Adam? Good to see you, buddy.
What up, Govnick, man? One of the main OGs with us. Love to see you, buddy.
Gang. Boys. Not a ton of football news. We're in the pretty dead gooch of offseason. But Adam, you and I have not discussed a bunch of these offseason stuff. A lot of these offseason changes and moves. We'll get into it with the Dynasty stuff. I'm going to pull up the board from the mock draft that Joey and I just participated in, just so we could see a visual. And then we'll get talking about these Dynasty players, which players are moving, which players now in their current situation are you like, I don't know about that guy, or this guy is about to way overperform this expectation.
All right, let's check out the mock, man. See the mock.
Oh, before we do that, actually, Joey.
Sweet. I was thinking a rookie mock. This is a startup. Let's go.
It's a startup mock draft.
Awesome.
Dynasty startup. Obviously, Dynasty. The conversation is a little different than the other formats. And right now I love talking about Dynasty at these key parts of the year where things are changing. Right before the draft, after the draft, when the season starts, after the season ends. All these, they have like these kind of touch points, and we're in one of those right now. It's kind of a resetting moment. Most leagues are like,
When did you do this mock, real quick?
When did we do it? 2 days ago.
So, what I would tell you to do, or a pretty good experiment just to think about from someone doing a lot of content based on this, what would be really cool to see is if you could get the same group to do in the exact same spots, do the same thing. Let's say like a week after the NFL draft takes place.
True, yeah.
And then see what changes, because what that will highlight to me, what I've just seen over and over, is how much we, or I guess the community in general, doesn't appropriately value picks and inflates the name of the rookies with landing spots. So I think that would be a really cool like data point comparison.
That makes sense. Joey would be the one to tell us if we could do that, because he's the one that put it together.
I'm sure
Joey, as long as we don't have the the impersonator trying to get in the way, we should be able to.
You never know,
right?
It's real, Joey.
You never know. And I sometimes I don't even know if I'm talking to my real self.
It's not all the same people. Maybe you have to swap out a few people for somebody else in the same spot, but it'd just be a cool exercise to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's see what we got.
Before we do that, Joey, did you have something? I just see Simon down there smirking at me in this thing.
Yeah, our good buddy Simon, he's in bed right now.
Yeah,
not in his bed. He's in a hospital bed.
For real?
So I can't share it, Jill. You got to click on it.
Oh, okay. I have to do it. I see.
Yeah. So we want Simon to get well. I don't know if he's in the chat or not, but we miss you, buddy. We love you.
Yeah, everything is all good. He got successful
good.
surgery and everything. So I don't know how much context was actually given around that. So you just saying get well seems like he might be just suddenly sick.
No, he's good. He
I was going to ask, like,
tubes.
Is he all right?
No, he's good. Everything's good. Yeah.
All right, cool.
He's got tubes in him though, but you can't see where the tubes are at from the picture he sent. So use your imagination.
Yeah, he sent Joey
ready to get that one out.
It's like some of these assets in Dynasty. They're on life support, but he's gonna be all right.
Exactly.
So
all right, here's the board from the other day here. I wonder if I can I make this?
I like this too. This is my first time seeing this, so I get to kind of.
Yeah, so it's a fresh board, and I took the names out of it because it's not so much the names or the strategy of the mock that we're talking about here. We're not talking about this mock draft specifically. What I really wanted this visual for was so that we could talk about these players because one, they have the new teams, new information on there, and two, it's a fresh mock, so you can see where we are valuing some of these players post. In this specific time period that I was talking about, this specific time period of the season, this is like a nice little snapshot of it. And so, yeah, Adam, I'm curious out of this board, if there's anybody that stands out. Maybe that's too overwhelming of a question.
I mean, that's okay. We can start anywhere. I think the first thing that stands out to me, there's obviously several, but I think the most eye-popping, most glaring to me still is George Pickens at 301. Just is like, wow, man. Like, I get it. I get it. I had a great season back in Dallas, quarterback that could support elite upside. But man, like I haven't even done the math on this. I'd imagine that puts him inside like the top 10. So what are we at? JSN's wide receiver 1, Chase 2, Puka 3, Neighbors 4, Amon-Ra 5, Jefferson 6, Lamb 7, London 8. As I said, top 10. Wide receiver 9. Like there's no upside and all downside there, in my opinion.
No upside.
There's no.
So do you think
that's one of those picks I don't like to make that. If I'm drafting someone with where I feel like we're at ceiling, if everything goes right for George Pickens this year, what would that look like? Let's say theoretically.
He doesn't complain about the franchise tag. He goes and plays and he balls out like last year. That to me is an ideal season for George Pickens this year.
What do you think, Joey? You in agreement?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best case scenario is that he gets out of Dallas. If Dallas drafts somebody else, he goes somewhere else because it doesn't seem happy. And I know what's the squeaky mouse gets the cheese. Is that the phrase?
There you go.
You'll learn about me, Adam. I don't know what phrases mean. I just say them.
I think it's
but no, like
squeaky wheel gets the grease, but we'll go with that one.
Yeah, something like that. But if Pickens is in Dallas and they don't have another wide receiver in there, I think he's a solid wide receiver too. But he's being taken as a wide receiver 1 year. I don't know how I feel about that.
I would just say, I think JL has a good, if he duplicates what he did last year, I think that would be a win or a very good season again for Pickens, right? If that's the case, do we think he's going to go up in dynasty value? I'd say at that point, he probably stays the same. If not, maybe even goes down, not for any fault of his own. There's other incoming rookies, as we know, in the 27 class next year. They're really highly touted, Jeremiah Smith, guys like that. So I just feel like it's really, really rich and high for Pickens. I knew he was going to be drafted early this year. There's no. I'm not telling you that he shouldn't be drafted much higher than he was last year, but that just is. It's hard for me to really see, I guess, visually for the first time.
I agree.
There's obviously other things that I can get into, but that one just was like, Right as you asked me the question, I think I just looked at Pickens. I'm like, holy crap, we got to talk about
why is Pickens so high?
Yeah. What do you guys think? What do you feel about Pickens right now?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, the uncertainty there definitely makes him a little bit risky of a pick. But after what he did last season, I feel like any sort of what we were concerned about with George Pickens last year and all the years before that is different than what we're concerned about with George Pickens right now. And that piece, maybe I'm underestimating. After you laid out your point, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm just overestimating what he did this past season, because it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And somehow CeeDee Lamb didn't look bad either. They both looked really good in that single offense that just looked.
Was this your pick, JL?
What'd you say?
Was this your pick?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh damn. It felt like for a second I'm like, oh shoot, I just take my guy. I just clown my guy's pick like first thing off, not even knowing who picked it. I was laughing about. Okay,
but right. I'm looking at the receivers that went after Pickens.
Yeah,
and I think Garrett Wilson's the line where I would have taken Pickens over Wilson. But everybody before Wilson, I would have taken over Pickens.
Okay. Now this is actually an interesting point. I think that's a good observation. This is a little more of like a strategy piece that I like to think about, but I think it's a great point you're making, because you know how sometimes a run on a position, especially the elite ones, can kind of make you feel like a little forced to take a position or get your guy at that position. I think that definitely may have been the case, because I'm just looking as well. When you look at it too, Olave, I think, is unsexy and in a spot with you don't really know quarterback certainty. We've seen him underperform before. But outside of that, there's a lot of projection, right, as far as production goes. To your point, JL, kind of piggybacking on that. Like, Nico would be the exception. He's obviously produced time and time again. But
that was my pick.
So you got Igbuka, Burden. Burden's another one we can definitely talk about. But yeah. Burden, Tet, Ladd we saw in year one, but then again, year two, totally different scenario. Mekhi Lemon, obviously, Rome. A lot of these guys are projection afterwards. So that does, I think, differentiate Pickens and why he probably was the guy there. But you don't have to force a receiver, I think, right? You don't have to force a receiver. If you're in the position where you take Drake May at 1, you get T-Law at 2, you don't have to take receiver there. There's other positions, I think, if that's the scenario you're in. What up, Fizzle?
Fizzle Dollars in the chat. What's popping? What's popping, my friend? Good to see you. We got Craig in here, said, I would at least 2 of you make moves on me. Okay.
I think it was I would let at least.
Oh, okay. Oh,
probably not me, but I like to hear that, though. Good for you.
Well, see, Craig he's a man that likes numbers, and he's already had one of us on screen make a move on him. So he's probably gunning for the other.
He's just trying to fill out his box.
Hey, Craig.
Govnick asking, is this pretty vanilla scoring? Well, 1 PPR, tight end premium. Joey, remind me, this is just regular PPR, right?
Super flex, no tight end premium, PPR. Yep.
PPR.
Okay. Sweet. Which I was going to mention that does make sense, though. Seeing McBride and Bowers fall at around 2. In premiums, you depending on how high the premium is, you can see those guys going round 1. I'm not in favor of that, but makes sense to why they're in 2.
Yeah. Adam, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Loveland.
No, you can't do that.
How do you feel about where Loveland went? I didn't draft him. I pulled the curtain back. I'm the Nico team. So
yeah, I think one thing in particular for me, tight ends in South Harmon, where I do a lot of my content, tight ends don't matter for us. Based on our warp tool, we've just by and large found that they are easily replaced and are often too cost prohibitive, right? They cost too much for what they're going to give you in the upside.
It feels like that switched like recently within the last couple of years.
Well, and you had
and Bowers.
Well, yeah, you've had Kelsey, who basically kind of ruined what people think of it for years and years. His productions were insane. You had some other good years with other players, but I think when you're looking at it, right, McBride and Bowers, I'm not even saying they shouldn't be if you want to go get the elite tight end, right? But specifically Loveland, here would be my problem with why I'm not in favor of this at 310. More at that 410 range, if he was closer to Warren, I think I could understand it a little more. But I'm still in the camp of tight ends don't matter. My differentiator now is that there is, I would call this like flammability, this insane burst of dynasty value, they can come to the young ones. So, for example, Sadiq at 7-12, I love that. Like, I would love that specifically relative to Loveland at 310. Loveland, though, because of the playoffs at the end of what we saw, Jayla, you're talking about recency bias, essentially, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of already paying that. Like, you've already got that flammability now. You're drafting him at tight end 3 and in a really rich range, in my opinion, for what his production could be. And even if he has a nice little start, you're not going to get much dynasty value jump from where you selected him, right? So I think that would be why I would personally not be in favor of Loveland at 310. What do you guys feel?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. And I love what you said about the tight ends just not really mattering anymore, because I really noticed it after I took Brock Bowers in the league we were both in together. League mates, yeah. And the fact that Tyler Warren is so good, that Tucker Kraft was so fill-inable, that Dallas Goedert was like the tight end, like 6 or below or 6 or higher, depending how you look at it. Throughout the season was just like, oh my God, this position feels broken. There's just like the supply demand got out of whack. And now there's too much supply and there's not enough demand. Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially like you're talking, that was in a redraft league where honestly, it's funny because I fell victim to trying to get a tight end earlier than I should have 2 years in a row. I picked the absolute worst one of the bunch, TJ Hawkinson, this last year. But you could stream. Let's even say TJ Hawkinson was going to give me what I thought was going to be him, like, back end tight end 1. I could have streamed and got similar production and just not drafted one. Like, so
Arondé Gadsden.
Right. Now, so in Dynasty, the way I kind of look at it is like, I'm not really typically trying to pay the premium for one of those guys in that type of range, where I could maybe draft one of the guys in like round 7 or later, and probably hit you with volume, right? There's 2, 3, 4 tight ends that I feel like one of them is going to pop at some point. And if not, I'll just, keep streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
go ahead, Joe.
In this draft, like I think Colson Loveland's going to be such a polarizing player in Dynasty and redraft leagues this year, because some people just value him so high. I see him and Warren kind of similarly, kind of in the same tier, in the same block. So when it came to me on my next pick, I had a glob of wide receivers I'd have been fine with. So I'm like, well, I'm going to take Warren because I'm not in on Fannin. Like you say, tight ends don't matter. I think there's a Browns jersey behind you.
You're not in on points? You don't like fantasy points?
My question is, what's the
let me give you a perfect example, right? I remember vividly this time. There's multiple tight ends I can give you the same pitch for, but vividly at this time, coming off of his rookie season, I mean, people were laughing at me. Now, there's a lot of reasons to laugh at me. I've made a lot of horrible calls, but laughing at me, talking about, you want me to sell the tight end 1 in Dynasty coming off of his rookie season where he was unbelievable. This guy's a clown. And he's currently going at the 904 in this mock, which is Sam Laporta, right? So, and the reason I think that's a good analogy is I don't think it's common for a guy to come out and be tight end 1 and then go that far down. But the point is, you basically at a certain point, like Fannin range, Tyler Warren range, Loveland range, it's similar to the point of Pickens. There's a lot less to go up for these guys. Eventually, what they're holding on to is dynasty youth, and that doesn't stay for forever. As much as we don't like to talk about it, we're all getting older. And
why we play this game, to forget that.
Exactly. And if you have any type of down, as far as if you have a down year in any capacity, it's not going to lend favorably to your draft stock, which Kyle Pitts is the exact same scenario. We just tend to forget it. Kyle Pitts was a first-round startup pick in 2021. There's so many of them. But the point is now, Kyle Pitts is now in round 7. Sam Laporta is in round 9. That is a significantly more reasonable bet and it's more cost prohibitive to just go ahead and take these guys than take the extreme premium. Because when you take Bowers even at 208, McBride at 204, they better be studs at that price. Yeah. They better be.
Yeah, McBride. Yeah, they better be like wide receiver, tight end, hybrid studs.
And those guys both have that in their range of outcomes and have shown us that. But they have to be that at the price point you're taking them.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you take him there, like Brock Bowers last year, and then he doesn't show up, it feels really bad because now you're down 2 positions.
And Brock Bowers is a rare scenario where like his dynasty value didn't fall really much. It fell maybe a round. But you did for production, you got killed last year.
True. David Njoku's not even drafted here. Interesting.
David, well, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, definitely. I mean, there's guys that aren't on this page. I mean, listen, I get it with the injury and all that stuff, but I mean, Kittle in 1308 is absolutely nuts to me. Yeah. Like, I would go in with Kittle as my tight end 1, knowing I might have to, stream early for the year, or even take a year off and have Kittle as old as he is next year. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm in most drafts this year. If I don't get McBride or Bowers or value on Loveland, I'm waiting on Hunter Henry. 2 years in a row.
Another guy not on the page. Hunter Henry's often slept on. So these are guys like Hunter Henry range, what we like to call living the A-warp tight end life, which is if I don't get one, I'm just going to wait and take the value way later. I love that call on Henry.
Yeah. All right, let's switch positions here. Let's go to running back. Any of these top three round running backs stand out to you as not belonging there or surprising that they show up?
I do love switching positions all the time. And but no, I think Hampton being at the 210 is it's not that crazy because realistically it's only a few picks before getting into round 3. But I do think, at least from myself, I have Bijan, Gibbs, Genty, and Love kind of in. There's 2 separate tiers, but those 2 tiers are kind of very different from the pack. I can get into the reasons here in a second, but Bijan at 105 and 106 is, I think, about what I've seen. I've actually seen Keep Trade Cut recently had Bijan as player 1 overall, all assets, which I wouldn't be surprised to see. Yeah, yes, sir.
Wow.
So right now at the moment, it's still very neck and neck between him and Josh Allen. He's 9970 asset 2. Josh Allen's 9999. They basically always do that with. Point of the matter is, I think Bijan, with what we project moving forward, Tyler Algier being out of town, all that change and scenery, Kevin Stefanski coming in. Not that he doesn't run 2 running backs we saw with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in the past, but he's set to go off even to a higher degree than I think in years past, potentially. So I get it with him and I get it with Gibbs. And Genty and Love, they're both young and exciting. Genty we saw in moments, but God, that offense was so bad last year. I think what separates them from the other guys, though, for me, is that I truly believe these guys they have a little bit of a pass still, because if they don't perform at a crazy elite level, the Dynasty community has shown us that we believe in the name so much that they're not going to lose a ton of Dynasty value. Pretty much everybody else at the running back position doesn't have that in their, they don't have that Joker card, so to speak. They'll go down tremendously in value if they don't perform, which basically is like a caution red flag for me. Like, I don't know.
Robinson effect.
Exactly. So I don't. That's where, for me, it's those 4 guys, and then I'm probably. Maybe if if James Cook, let's say, falls to round 4 now or something, okay, maybe there. But a lot of times I'm going to probably be wanting to get one of those guys early, or I'm going to be waiting a little bit on the position still.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I like that breakdown. The Jonathan Taylor, him being there stands out to me. Seeing him, he just feels a little bit on the older side to be taken in the 3rd round. I think I would just always go to a younger guy. That's fair. I think basically there you start getting to we're not quite there with Taylor, but we're almost to it's like the McCaffrey bet or the Saquon bet. Yeah,
right? You're basically betting on production, and it's hand in hand. The dynasty value is tied to that production. So he's a guy that's a freak athlete. You look at his his RAS score, you look at his freaking player profile and metrics. It's off the charts. So it's not that I wouldn't want to bet on him aging well, but you just have to know there's no dynasty value insulation. What I was talking about with those guys ahead, his is even worse because you get to that 27, 28-year-old range as a running back, it's 0 floor.
Yeah, nobody wants him.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
Look at, Derrick Henry's the peak example of this. This dude literally doesn't. Last year wasn't a good year relatively.
He's holding on to the cliff. But he just holds on to that cliff, and everybody keeps stepping on his fingers, and he falls down a little bit and catches it with his other fingers.
It's crazy because you talk about recency bias. He had an unbelievable finish to the fantasy year, right? He helped people. He may not have got you to the playoffs, but if you had him in the playoffs, you probably won.
Is this the year, Joey, that he falls off?
Well, even then,
I'm going to stop predicting it. Because I said it like, oh, it's probably this might be the last year, and then it keeps happening, so I'm done.
So so my first big pivotal Dynasty trade shows, I think it was either 2021 or 2022. I was just started making content my first year. I was like, why? Somebody traded Cam Akers for Derrick Henry straight up. So that was my big miss. But it's all these years later, Derrick Henry's still producing.
Here.
Yeah, but I mean, he's 32 and he's coming off of a really strong finish. He's at the 709. So at a certain point, you're just betting on production only.
All right, let me rephrase the question then for you guys. Is what moves are you guys making right now? Given what you see right now, like the value on the board is somewhat set. We talked about, there's a few maybe people who are different than what we expect, but there's no one who's like crazy off value here. So given that, what moves are you going to make now in anticipation for some sort of event happening? Like we're talking about the Derrick Henry fall off, or, you're abstaining from that one. Fine. Which moves are you not abstaining from? Joey, you mentioned a couple trades you were just making earlier in a Dynasty.
Yeah, like I said on yesterday's show with you that anything after like the 108, 109, if I can grab a 2027 first, that's kind of in the camp I'm in right now.
You're just in like a coward defer mode.
Not deferment, but like I have a team.
I don't want to play. I don't want to lose.
No, I've got like, I'll use an example. I have a team that I'm pretty well off at quarterback. I've got Jared Goff, Josh Allen, Geno Smith, and Jaden Daniels at quarterback. So I'm set at quarterback.
I know everybody's forgetting about J-Day, but man, he forgot he even had him on his team. No, that's a crazy.
Sleeper doesn't like list them correctly.
Yeah, I got you. I was just kidding. No, you're good.
But I also have Bryce Young. So I am sending Bryce Young in the 2026 111, and I'm really weak at wide receiver. So I'm for Ladd McConkey and the 2027 first.
Okay.
For my team, it makes a lot of sense.
Huge. I agree. I also, my other question would be, for whose team doesn't that make sense? To me, I would take Ladd over Bryce still, and a 2027 first, especially when you get to that range, the 111. Definitely, I would take a 27 first over 111. I like your side for sure. Well done.
So run it back for me one more time, Joey. Is Bryce Young plus
the 111 this year for Ladd McConkey and the 2027 first.
For Ladd McConkey in 2027 first, okay.
Clean little 2-for-2 swap. Yeah, I'm used to. One time I had to do a show where I couldn't see anything on the screen. It was weird. It was on Ecamm. It was actually a BDG one, and I literally couldn't see, so I had to just hear. I'm used to hearing Dynasty trades and kind of visualizing them.
Yeah, no, I am too. Especially after you answer enough questions.
Yep.
Related to any of these fantasy questions.
Is.
But yeah, I'll throw this up just to help because we got the board up here.
I thought that was a comment. Like the other person was in the chat. Oh, that would have been awesome. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So Bryce Young and the 111 for Ladd McConkey and the 2027 first. Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. That does make sense. Bryce Young, dude, it feels like he could be a sell high. I don't know. Like I'm not willing to.
You know what? Here's another thing I love doing. I don't use it as gospel anymore, so to speak. But we used to use startup values as close to like what their dynasty actual value is. Where's Bryce Young versus Ladd going in this draft here?
Bryce Young's at the 812, all the way in the middle of the left side.
I actually couldn't find. There he is, right on the first row. Okay.
Yep.
And Ladd is at the 409.
The 409.
Lordy,
it did good. And the team that I'm sending it to really needs a quarterback.
Now, so that's the only thing. You did have what I would call that. Oh man, we have people from South Harmon in here. Welcome to the quarterback horde life. We've it's not been a great last couple of years for quarterback hoarding, but you had enough of a quarterback horde going to where I think you did it well to I think where you really did well is by forget even the trade value that you won. When you have a quarterback horde going and you can offload a quarterback, let's even say for not a win, just for transactional even dynasty value, without having to sell your elite ones and get back equal value, that's a huge win. So you by selling Bryce Young, right, who's not giving us anywhere near quarterback one floor, so to speak, right? Like you got to keep J-Day and you got to keep Josh Allen. That's the win in that trade by even more so. Not that this wasn't a win just on paper, but I think that's for your team even more so the big win for you.
Cool. I feel much better about it. I didn't really feel bad about it. I was
just to let you know, though, I do have a very long history of bad luck, so I do, hope the best for your team.
I heard once that somebody traded Cam Akers for Derrick Henry.
I've actually done way worse than that, but I have done that too. Yes.
Don't worry. 3 years ago, I was trading for Damian Pierce in every league I could get him in.
Oh, yeah, tough.
And I can't drop him out of spite.
That was similar to James Robinson coming off of a nice rookie year. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, we all have those. I'm pretty sure I traded Brandon Cooks for Terrell Pryor for some God-forsaken
Terrell
reason.
Pryor.
I know. It was really
I played
bad.
basketball against Terrell Pryor.
Oh, for real? Did you win?
I did not. He was on the Pittsburgh Jots. It was a Solon Kids Classic Championship. They were absolutely loaded. Him, DeJuan Blair, who played for Pitt and played in the NBA. I had a really good game, but no, we lost by about 15, 20.
Dang. If you don't know, Adam is super tall. Were you taller than Terrell Pryor?
Terrell Pryor had an inch or two on me. I was at the same year. I was taller than or as tall as DeJuan Blair was. This is sophomore going into junior year in high school. DeJuan Blair, people don't realize the dude was like somewhere between 6'4" and 6'5". Realistically, he was listed as 6'6". Played power forward in the NBA. He's an absolute monster.
Dang.
But Terrell Pryor was probably one of the best athletes. Not that I've ever seen. I think just in general, to be able to, he could have definitely played Division I, if not possibly in the NBA. Like he was so freaking athletic. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I believe it. I would go watch some Terrell Pryor highlights. They're crazy.
Longest running, standing still quarterback run in NFL history. If you remember versus the Steelers, it was like 98 or 97 yards. It was insane. The first play of the game.
He was on the Raiders, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah.
Bring
back Terrell Pryor. I almost said rip Terrell Pryor, but I feel like the last thing I heard about him was he got injured in some like a stabbing or something, and then I never heard anything again. Or maybe I heard that he got better.
Well, he when he went to, he had a good year in Cleveland. He had a 1,000-yard season, and then it was all downhill from there.
It's done, yeah.
Cleveland.
Dave saying lad bounce back season. I could see it wasn't even the worst for him, but yeah, I mean things. I would be very, if I was a Los Angeles Chargers fan, I would be very excited right now. As soon as they got Mike McDaniels in there, I was like, oh my God, they're about to be unstoppable. They're about to come up with the kookiest schemes together.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, like, I don't know if Lad goes back. Bounce back, I think, is almost assuredly in the cards. I think he has a better year this year than he did last year. I don't know if he quite gets back to rookie season Lad, but even if it's close to that, I think you're in a win. 409's drafting him pretty high still, but I think in this range, you're kind of in that, like you were talking about earlier, Joey, where you're in that next tier where you can make a lot of debating cases.
Yeah. Dave saying I have the 110 through the 112 and would love to trade each one of those for a 2027 first. Yeah.
Of course. Let me ask you this, Joey, on that trade. Last piece I was going to ask you. Do you already have your 27 first? Do you have other 27 first accumulated? What does that give you as far as next year in the chamber?
I believe it would give me 2 2027. Yes, I will have 2 2027 firsts now.
Is that yours that you already had and then that one now?
Yeah, it'll be mine, and then it's the one that's coming to me is from somebody else on that's, there's all kind of trading that goes on. So it's not from his team, but he has the first. Yeah, so
a worthwhile betting against team that you just picked up a first from?
Well, I looked into that too to see where the pick was coming from, and they finished middle of the pack.
Oh my goodness!
I don't want to dox who it is, but like,
no, you don't.
Looked at their team, and I was like,
if there's even if there's even a hypothetical chance that that's a team that doesn't make the playoffs, they won't make the playoffs. Oh my gosh, that's a lottery. That's a lottery ticket in Dynasty. See, that's the thing. Even if you think, a lot of times this is an errant move that I see. I still can at times fall prey to, and I think a lot of people do in Dynasty. Is you overvalue, like, okay, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to be a contender, right? Well, one of the best contending pieces to have is a lottery ticket like that.
Yeah.
Now, for the first half of the season, maybe let's say even, you can't use it in any way, shape, or form in your lineup, obviously. There's actually never a point in the season where you can use a draft pick in your lineup. But about that point, people that have no other choice but to realize, damn, I'm not going to make the freaking playoffs. That pick all of a sudden carries a ton of weight and can buy you a player of production that you never have business getting to. So huge potential win for you there.
Yeah, value over time.
I'm sort of looking at those 2027 picks and hopefully going to get a running back out of it, because at this point my RB3 is J.K. Dobbins, who I don't mind, but I'd much rather have him as like a flex or my RB4. So
that's fair.
But that's a perfect way to build. Is okay.
Yeah.
You're staying at running back now, but you can always go buy running backs later when there's a lot of other injuries at the position you don't have to worry about.
True. Tunchi in the chat saying Penix not drafted. What are your thoughts on the QB battle in Atlanta? Great question. I was the team that drafted Tua, but Penix was not drafted. I don't think so. Do you guys see Penix on here?
No, he wasn't taken.
What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I will say I saw Tua there. I didn't even think to look at Penix. That's interesting to me. Ty Simpson going ahead of Penix is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
That feels like Penix just got forgotten at that point.
Are we sure? Yeah, I was gonna say Penix has to be like this. Sometimes sleeper boards can get a little funky. That's crazy, brother.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now, because
even if everybody doesn't think Penix is that good, there's no way he should be falling to round 15.
Not in a dynasty, no. My thought process on the Tua portion of this, and honestly, I think the same way about Michael Penix, is that either one of them could win that battle, and either one of them could go to another team and win that battle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay. I lean on the Tua side here a little bit over Michael Penix, but
do you? Okay,
but it's not that far.
Why so? Let me ask.
Mainly because of his experience. He's had a ton of game experience, and then he's going to a new team, which is with competent coaching. I think that sometimes you just need that, it's like a Daniel Jones type thing. Sometimes you just need to kind of re-roll the dice, reset, and then you go to a new organization, and it's like, oh, okay, and you take all of what you did before with your new, to your new place, and it feels like that could happen for Tua. He seems like a pretty smart guy who he takes in a lot, and he's seems pretty introspective. So that's my line of thinking, is that he is talented enough, and Atlanta's, they got tons of weapons. It's basically his weapons got younger and a little better.
No, for sure. I think all that definitely makes sense. What do you think, Joey? Before I weigh in.
My fear with Tua is he gets his dice rolled again, and then we don't, and then it has to be Penix. We talked yesterday about
you're talking the concussion, yeah.
Sorry.
I wasn't even thinking that. I just thought you meant I was just thinking of it as okay, let's say Tua's ready to go right away, and Penix isn't, maybe not, and then boom, Tua gets on the field. It's not happening well for him on performance, but also the concussion's 100% true as well, right?
I don't normally take injury risk into too much consideration, because everyone can get injured every week. Tua, for me, those feels a little different. It feels like if he gets one more concussion, that's his career. Because I don't know how many.
A few more hits left, yeah.
And so I'm worried about him from that aspect. So I probably would go Penix over Tua based on just that. And once again, I don't like to use injury as a deciding factor.
No, and age and injury, I think, is a fair factors to bring up in this conversation.
But there's also the question mark of we know what we've seen from Tua. We've seen good and we've seen bad. I just don't feel like we've seen what Penix can do yet, and I'd rather take that question mark, especially that late.
Fair.
Okay, I like that. I like letting you guys talk that out, because I think you hit on a lot of the stuff that I think about on both sides of it.
Adam, where do you land between these two guys? Which one are you taking first? And
I'm taking Penix first. In a vacuum, I'm taking Penix first.
Penix first.
How far apart's tough to say.
Do you do a lot of trading in vacuums?
I don't know that I've ever traded in a vacuum. But I've done a lot of trades. Not this year though. Not as many as I would like to. What I'll say is that if I the reason I say I'm in a vacuum though is in my team, right? If I've taken one of my quarterbacks, but I've waited like crazy on the position, and you're looking for more stability or a couple safety nets at quarterback, maybe you would take Tua. I wouldn't take him ahead, but I might be more willing to take a Tua there, or maybe reach on both to grab Penix and to grab Tua if I'm looking for a quarterback solution, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I think here's what I'm looking to do typically with my picks later. I'm looking to shoot a little more for upside and a little less for stability later in the draft. And I think typically in the earlier parts, I would like to err on stability and be careful of drafting too much upside. So guys like Burden at 401, I'm not a fan of him in that position at all. But just in general, if you do too much of that early in the drafts, that's where I found those teams, while it's fun to draft those young, exciting teams, you could end up really screwing up stuff. So
yeah,
for me later on, I would tend to typically take a Penix. If it doesn't work out well, I can trade for stability at the end of my roster, probably, and almost negate that loss very simply. Go get a Rodgers, go get somebody to give me a bridge fill in. But if Penix hits, right, Penix probably, if he hits at the early part of the year, let's say, gets himself to Bryce Young, Tyler Shuck range pretty easily. So I think that it's, again, kind of a risk reward thing. I think the risk for Tua is not that high, but I don't think there's much reward, frankly. He probably could go up a little bit, but everyone's always going to be worried, is he going to get another concussion? How long until his spot's going to get? Yeah, how long until he's going to lose his spot? Exactly. And I don't think we've seen Tua in situation with Waddle, Tyreek Hill. We've seen him in very advantageous positions as well, as far as surrounded with talent. We've never seen him or viewed him as a quarterback one. So he's not a producer difference maker. I'm already factoring that in. So I would be taking Penix ahead for sure, probably by a couple rounds. But I mean, if Tua's in a range where, you know, like where I don't have a problem with Tua going where he's going here per se. It's just more so I'm like, Penix not making it in the first 15 rounds to me is like, damn, people really hate Penix. Is wild. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Joe, any more thoughts on the QB battle in Atlanta?
No. I think it's all up for grabs of who the second best quarterback is in the NFC South. It's gonna be interesting because I mean, Bryce Young, Tyler Shuck, or Michael Penix, like
any of them.
What up, Peter? I just saw Peter put a comment in there. What's up, my guy?
Yeah. All right, well, Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Joey, you as well, man. Yeah, this is awesome. Talking some Dynasty moves to make right now. It's a good time. Go join a Dynasty league, and if you aren't, make sure you go follow these guys. Links are in the description. If you're on YouTube, put them both in there. So,
W.
All right, boys. You ready to get out of here?
Sure. I was just getting started, but I'm ready to get out of here too. Yeah, let's go.
All right. Enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Appreciate you guys having me on, man. Peace, bro.
Yeah.